Come on, Barry. Let him fight, man. Everyone's tensed up for a rumble. Skin against skin. He ain't gonna get hurt, is he?
Come on, I'll grab hold of a little one.
Well, we will need every man we can get, but I don't know.
Look, if it was knives or chains or something, it'd be different.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and in January, I had my good friend Doc join me, and we talked about Comicsgate and some of the issues that we both personally had with it, and why we kind of walked away. And we were happy to do so, and we were happy also to let other people have it, and that they were enjoying the Comicsgate community, and it becoming something that we just weren't really all that interested in anymore. And while there's been a lot more Comicsgate news happening lately, and it's not a topic I really like addressing on the channel very much. It's not really a Comicsgate channel, but it seemed like something we should talk about. So back today is Doc. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm amused.
Seems like every day there's something else going on. I do the best I can to keep my twit feeds as clean as possible, but you just can't avoid all the drama and things like that. It permeates all avenues of social media as far as comic books go.
It really does. You and I met through Comicsgate, YouTube, and Twitter. We have still a lot of that connection back, but for the most part, we've just kind of stopped caring. But we still see it, so it's more of in the periphery for us. But sometimes we'll get a little amused by it.
Obviously, the big news is Preston Poulter, who owns Pocket Jacks Comics. He wrote White Lily and a couple other indie comics that have been crowdfunded. I guess he trademarked Comicsgate. I guess there's some debate on whether he could or he couldn't, and I'm certainly no legal expert, and I actually have no interest in delving into that little topic, but it seems kind of misguided in my opinion. There's almost a belief that the reason maybe Ethan Van Sciver and some of the other Comicsgate personalities do so well with their crowdfunding projects is because they're Comicsgate. And I think they might have it backwards. I think the reason a lot of Comicsgate projects get funded really well is because it's associated actually with Ethan Van Sciver. I don't always agree with the way Ethan handles himself on social media, and I think he gets outraged a little too easy on YouTube, but he certainly has a large audience. He has a large following, and I think if you take the Comicsgate name away from him, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I would say at this point, you're correct. Ethan took something that was, he piggybacked his social media presence, or at least his YouTube audience, off of the existing Comicsgate community name, whatever you want to call it. But he took it and ran with it, and that's fine.
Yeah, he made content for them specifically. He put the name on his channels and stuff. But
yes, and he he obviously attempted to cater to them. He kind of became a leader of it, and he kind of started directing where the movement was going, and channeled it from a consumer movement into a creator movement, and that's great. But the only reason that could have happened regardless of the name. It still would have done the same thing. Ethan's popularity has to do with the way he entertains. Now, I don't particularly find it entertaining. That's fine. But there's a lot of people that do. A lot of the other people that have kind of grown their presence have taken cues from him. They've taken some cues from Richard. They've taken cues from Stan Lee, from they've just that kind of overall carnival barker. It doesn't matter what the name behind it was. Yes, they managed to continue with that name and repurpose it for their own, for the creative side, and that's fine. I don't particularly have any interest in it. But the name doesn't make the creator. Yes, it helps them in the door with a hashtag so that people can find them if they're searching it. But outside of that, the reason why financially it's been successful is because they've tied their wagons to a common customer pool.
Whether you like him or you don't like him, he's entertaining. He's pretty charismatic, and he's got a stage presence, which brings people in. Yes, did Comicsgate help him, probably grow his channel a little bit faster than he would have, just like Star Wars did? Of course it did. But at this point, that train has already left the station so long ago, it doesn't really matter. He's somewhat pulling the Comicsgate brand with him. And that's why you see everybody wanting to be on his channel and promote their books and things like that, so they'll get funded and get funded big. Brand being a big example. I remember I believe the first time they tried to fund that book, it was under a few $100s when their original funding round ended. They obviously didn't make it. And then the next time around, it was in, several tens of thousands.
They found an audience and they found a way to get their message to that potential customer pool. And that's, successful marketing 101. You found a common customer pool. You're targeting it. You're finding a way. You found a way to brand yourself so that other people can come in, use your brand as a promotional tool. Look, this is all just business and marketing 101 stuff, and it was successful. Doesn't matter what you call it. It works.
In that respect, the Comicsgate name, Ethan probably doesn't need it anymore. Does he want it? Absolutely. He's his presence in the presence of others like John Malin, Cecil, that umbrella guy, people associated with Comicsgate have certainly added a monetary value to the name Comicsgate, but taking it away from them really isn't going to have much of an effect. You're really probably only affecting the people that were hoping to use it
in the future.
In the future. The real folly in all this, in my mind, and I could be completely wrong, and Preston might be a real genius about this and be several levels higher thinking than I am, is that the one thing that you can say about Comicsgaters, whatever you want to call them now, I guess, if it's trademarked, they can't call themselves that, I don't know, is that they're very willing to fund crowdfunded comic book projects. And, they're willing to throw top dollar no matter who the creative team is. They will fund a project they believe in, whether they have, proof that it's going to be quality. They're willing to wait. They're willing to wait, in some cases, years, to finally receive their comic books and like that. And they're willing to spend money. And we've also learned, certainly along the way, that you don't have to be associated with Ethan or be on his channel to sell to that audience. As long as you maintain yourself professionally and you come out with a good product, they will eventually come find you, because there's really not enough books going out there, and they have money to spend, and they want new comics, and they want to support independent comics that show the mainstream comic industry, the finger. This is what we want. So you don't really need to be associated with Comicsgate to actually sell to the Comicsgate clients.
Correct. I could understand. I understand where some creators want to come along and kind of hitch their wagon to that. But Preston's trying to do it is almost take it away from who already has it. And that's not going to be a successful model. I mean, if he wanted to build his own thing that discludes people like Ethan, that's fine, but he would need to find an audience that exists. He would need to basically follow Ethan's model, which was find an existing community that already has kind of branded itself as a customer pool, come in as a creator, appeal to that audience, and then steer the direction of that audience in for taste making and whatnot, the way that Ethan was successful in doing with Comicsgate. But that other not Comicsgate branded community doesn't exist. So I understand why he's trying to do it, but it's just not going to be successful.
Well, the real problem is, like I said, you have a large pool of people, several thousand that are willing to pay top dollar for comic books and fund comic book projects. And they're very loyal to Ethan in the big personalities in Comicsgate. Once you start, attacking Ethan on a daily basis, every other day, or you try to take Comicsgate away from them, you're only really making them, I imagine, close their wallets to where they won't even consider funding a project, no matter how good it is, because they have a personal dislike for you now.
Exactly. If it's all about just getting funded, just shut up and play along. You don't have to like these people. You don't have to like the other people that are using the other creators that are using the brand, but you can appeal to the audience without attacking the other people.
You can't make yourself successful by trying to make somebody else not successful.
Yes. Yeah. Nobody else. I mean, I said this when it came to, Marvel and DC going poorly, you're going down, and, indie thinking that it's going to open the doors to them. Nobody else can fail their way into your success. And you can't drag someone else down. All you're going to end up being is the guy that's standing on the other guy at the bottom of the mountain. You don't become the guy at the top of the mountain pulling that guy down.
Well, certainly not someone with as big a following as Ethan Van Sciver. You really just going to make you somewhat of a pariah to the community. And like I said, they're not going to want to fund your projects and stuff like that. So in that sense, I do think it's a folly, kind of a waste of time, unless you just really wanted a lot of people that fund comic books not to like you.
Yeah. I mean, look, Vox Day tried this, 2.5 years ago. And basically the collective response was go F yourself, because he tried to copyright it. Ethan stepped in, and whether it was by, for a magnanimous reason or selfish reasons, I don't particularly care. Watching somebody try to come in and
it's like the dude trying to make, what is it, Young Blood without Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrific. LLC trying to trade on Rob Liefeld's name and Rob Liefeld's creation, and everybody basically sitting there going, fuck you, man. We're not buying Young Blood that doesn't have Rob involved.
So I feel like there's a terrible misunderstanding of the audience over there, and this will probably backfire unless, like I said, the ultimate goal was to upset them, and then I guess it worked. Now there's another thing going on right now that I did want to talk about. I don't know if it's really Comicsgate. It's just some guy, even Comicsgate. I think he's just a dude on the internet that talks about comics.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Look, he's been around talking comics, talking with Zach and Doug Ernst and Anglatine and all the other OG guys that have been around since early on, making videos, laughing at the stupid crap that the mainstream industry does. So I guess in that regard, you could call him Comicsgate. I assume that he would probably call himself Comicsgate.
I assume that he wouldn't, just by watching his videos. He's never used the term to refer to himself. It's been like 4 years that he could have done that. Okay. I'm pretty sure he just wants to be an independent guy just has a YouTube channel. Yeah,
he just wants to be kind of, he has people that he's friends with and wants to laugh at stupid crap on the internet. And that's good enough for me.
And he has a brand, within independent comics YouTube. He has a very unique style. He covers things in his own very unique way. He's not really copycatting anybody. He's absolutely who he is, and everyone knows him for that. And now, I guess, and these are people I really respect. Like, I respect Captain Cummings a lot. JDA is trying to make some noise and stuff like that. I don't understand why they're trying to bully him into covering things that he doesn't want to. He's built that channel over the course of years, building up a YouTube channel to 75,000 subscribers with no name value of himself. We don't even know what the guy looks like. He's never released a comic to my knowledge. It's not like he was a big name in the industry. He's had to work really hard to get there. For people to expect him or demand for him to cover things that he doesn't find important or interesting, or quite frankly, just doesn't fucking want to cover, seems really wrong to me.
I would agree there, because look, you build your audience to 75 grand, doing it your way. You've earned the right to continue doing it your way. Not only that, but look, nobody has any right to demand, unless they're signing your paycheck, they don't have any right to demand anybody cover anything. He's
his job to maintain his audience and give them what they want, and create enough content that spills over, that he brings in more people.
Correct. And he has to appeal to more people than he puts off. That's all he has to do. I don't see the reason why anybody needs to tell him what he's supposed to be doing. And I don't see where anybody has the right to.
And it's not like the content that they are asking him or kind of demanding that he cover. It's not like it's not being covered on YouTube every day. There's at least 5 or 6 YouTube channels that have a hate boner for Ethan Van Sciver and make anti-Ethan Van Sciver content on a daily or weekly basis. It's not like the information isn't being covered.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got a lot of YouTubers that are, they got their mat on for him, and that's fine. Like, I noticed this weird tendency of comic book Twitter, comic book YouTube, to feel the need to draft people onto their side. The law of inevitability happens where when you try to draft somebody that just wants to sit there and sit on the sideline and just kind of mindlessly watch stuff and maybe go play their own games whenever they feel like it, whenever you try to draft them and demand that they be on your side, you inevitably push them to the opposite side. It happens every single time. Stop trying to draft people. Look, people that want to be there, all you have to do is just be there with open arms if they get driven to your side. And if they don't, hey, guess what? It's not another enemy. It's this weird with us or against us logic that I can't stand.
YouTube is like the arena, the battleground of ideas. If you can put your ideas out there, if you can explain them and articulate them very well in a way that attracts people, then you've won. If you really want to get this information out there, put it out in a very well packaged video yourself that's well produced, and put it out there. And if it's good, people will come and find it.
Yes, exactly. But the people that don't want to actually get in that arena, stop trying to force them into it. I feel like that's what happened with just some guy. A bunch of people. Some people that have, I guess, ostensibly, I would like to believe they have good intentions, just they're curious about somebody else's take on it. But when you get to the point of demanding, that's whenever I draw the line. Don't demand anybody do anything.
Yeah, approach them. If they want to cover it, they cover it. If not, then
you say, okay, have a nice day.
He knows his audience better than anyone else, and he knows what content he wants to make. I can tell you as a content creator that's not nearly as good as just some guy, that when you're making content about stuff you're not very interested in, you make bad content.
Yes, and everybody watching can tell you don't give a shit.
It's just weird. There's other stuff we could talk about with Comicsgate, but those are the two big things. I do think the trademarking of Comicsgate is a bit silly, and the idea that Ethan Van Sciver is now propped up by Comicsgate, when I would say it's actually kind of I wouldn't say it's the other way around. Ethan Van Sciver was going to be successful with or without him. He has his audience now. They're very dedicated to him. They're not going to leave him because you took a trademark away. That's just a silly idea. And then I think just some guy should be able to make whatever the hell he wants. He's built an audience. He's worked very hard for it. YouTube channels take a lot of hard work and dedication. He's put that into it. He can do what he wants.
I agree completely. Trying to take away or trying to control the Comicsgate trademark copyright, whatever the hell it is, you're not going to magically gain those readers. They're not going to come over and just blindly open their wallets for you. All you're going to do is piss them off. Stop. This is what it comes down to. Stop just trying to pick fights for no apparent reason. Everybody, just stop picking fights for no reason.
Absolutely. And that includes Ethan. I think that he should definitely take a chill pill, but at this point, he doesn't really have to, I guess. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Welcome to comics internet blood sports, I guess.
All right, Doc, that basically takes up our time for today's video. I really appreciate your perspective on all these events.
Anytime, any day, we'll just laugh about comics, YouTube, and Twitter.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.